Donald J. Trump is going to lose bigly in November, and here are just some of the reasons why. Starting with Pollster, which is an aggregator of polls, you can see the trend lines here. Well, they were looking pretty good for a while there, but then they weren't. So what we had was a little bit of a closer here, got within 4 points after the Republican convention, and boom. Donald is now losing by almost, 8 points? You can go down and look at all the individual polls. Clinton plus 15, plus 9, plus 4, plus 6, plus 10, plus 9, plus 6. You have to go back quite a ways to find anything that's good news for Donald. And that's all the way back to really just before the Democratic convention started. But that's just one metric, so let's go to the next one. Real clear politics. Again, this takes polls, lumps them together, comes up with an average, and you can see going all the way back to, 2015, I guess? What's the date here? August 7th of 2015. And you can see there were a few times when Donald got close, a couple times when he passed her here back, May 22nd. And then right after the Republican convention, boom, leading by a point, just over a point, pretty good. But this week has been nothing but bad news, and here we are, Clinton plus 6.8. And these are, by the time you hear this will already be old news and there will be new polls out. But if we go down and look at all the polls conducted, here they are in order, plus 9, plus 15, plus 10. They're the same polls, just with a slightly different method of coming up with the averages. And look, if you go down the list, there are so few good results for Donald. Look at one of the experts, Sam Wang from the Princeton Election Consortium. He's predicting Clinton will get, if the election were held today, 340 electoral votes. Now, you only need 270 to win, so that's pretty lopsided. But out of the cajillions of simulations he runs, there's this beautiful little histogram that shows all of the possible outcomes. And the red line at 270, there used to be a bunch of green over on the side of it, showing a possible win for Donald. But now even the green at the margin showing an unlikely outcome, it's just not good. It's just not good. So then we look at the meta-analysis, which shows where the polling is. You can see it's been hovering around Clinton plus 4. And as of today, it's just getting ugly. It's just getting ugly. The math is getting hard, but we haven't even gotten into the deeper elections. So let's look at 538. This is Nate Silver's forecast. Now, he runs this 3 different ways. He runs it with the polls plus, the polls only, and the nowcast. Well, let's start with the polls plus, because that's the least favorable, giving Hillary a 74.4% chance of winning. If you look at this map, you can see as of the polls plus forecast, it shows Florida, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, the 3 big prizes, all going to Clinton. Projecting electoral votes of 313 for Clinton and 224 for Donald. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for Donald. And you can see on the, if you look at the historical chart, this is about 74.4%. That's about as well as she's ever done on here. Let's see, 73. No, this is the best Clinton has performed since this began on June 8th. You can go look at the actual states. You can see it's just not pretty. He also runs a histogram that shows the likelihood of certain outcomes, and overwhelmingly it favors Clinton. She's winning the popular vote, she's winning the electoral vote, and this is, again, the least favorable of the 3. So let's go to the polls only forecast, where we see a 79.9% chance for Hillary. And then there's a radical crazy nowcast, which is really, don't even bother, because it just gives you a snapshot based on today, and based on today, 91.5% chance. And that would be, that would be 365 electoral votes out of the 270 needed. It's insanity. 270 to win lets you play with your own maps, which we'll do in a minute here, but they have a handful of experts who make predictions. Sabato's crystal ball from University of Virginia Center for Politics says Clinton's got this locked up, 347 to 191. Cook Political Report shows it locked up. Now, all of these different analysts come up with only 181 to 191 safe electoral votes for Donald. He needs 270. 181 to 191 is the most any of these credible experts with huge budgets and long established track records of success comes up with. On the Clinton side, they're a little more varied. 249, I think, is the lowest. 242 appears to be the lowest, but most of them have it higher. So for fun, what they do is they then take all of these maps and they say, if everyone is on the same page on a state, we give it to them, etc. So looking at the consensus map of all the experts, it shows that Clinton's already at 242, which is, you only need another 28 to get there. Another 28. She's already 90% of the way to victory, whereas Donald Trump is only at 191. He needs another 80 electoral votes. So here's the crazy thing. Let's give Florida to Donald. Let's give Ohio to Donald. Let's give Pennsylvania to Donald. He's still not there. Those are 3 states he must win, and he's trailing in all of them. Let's give him New Hampshire. Let's give him Iowa. He still doesn't win. Clinton picks up North Carolina and Virginia, and there we see 270, right on the nose. But let's skip over and let's go to the New York Times, the upshot. Now, I'll put links to all this, and hopefully I won't have to keep doing this all the time. And the only reason I'm doing this in the first place is because people keep asking me, well, he had a big week. And they look at my past predictions and they say, oh, you're so wrong and you're stupid and you're going to be so sad on election day. Yeah, maybe. It's possible. Right now, the New York Times is looking at an 80% chance of win for Clinton, the highest they've had her at yet, and a 20%, of course, for Donald. Looking at the state-by-state probabilities, they go into super depth here. Super safe states, all the usuals. Super red states, all the usuals. No surprises there. But this changes every day as new polls come in. One thing it does that's really fun is it takes all of the big aggregators, the polls of polls, and makes a summary of them. So they're saying 80%, 538 is saying 80%, PredictWise, the betting markets, 77%, Princeton Election Consortium, which we've already gone over, 85%. It's pretty ridiculous. So based on this, they're saying there's 211 safe for Hillary and 94 safe for Donald, over a 2-to-1 advantage in electoral votes that are safe. But this 233 in the middle is a bit misleading because they're saying, well, Wisconsin is in the middle. It's up for grabs. Minnesota, Pennsylvania. Well, Pennsylvania's at 82%, and Donald genuinely thinks he can win it, and he needs to. But let's look at some others in the same range. Alaska is only 83% safe for Donald. That's like saying Clinton could win Alaska. I mean, it's, I guess, possible? It's not likely. It's not going to happen is the thing. It's just not going to happen. So going down some more here, likely outcomes, they're saying, based on today, the most likely outcome is 332 electoral votes for Clinton. Now, this is where it gets fun. They've got this interactive here where it says, here's the battleground states. Here's the paths you need to win. Based on today's polling, Clinton has 998 ways to win. Donald has 24 paths to win. 24 is not a great number. That's only 2.3% of the paths. So if Clinton wins Florida, it's over. Pack your bags, go home. It is done. It is absolutely finished. But what if Donald wins Florida? So if he wins Florida, but and loses Ohio, he's still in it. He's still in it. All he would have to do is win. Let's see here. All he would have to do is win North Carolina, Virginia, Arizona, Iowa, Nevada, New Mexico, and New Hampshire. Oh, that only gives him a tie, though. not quite the victory he was hoping for. If he wins Ohio, it's still not great, because he would then have to go on to win Florida and Ohio and North Carolina and Virginia, Arizona, Iowa, Nevada, New Hampshire, and New Mexico. That's a narrow path, my friend. If he wins Florida and Ohio and Georgia and Virginia, Arizona, Iowa, I mean, it's just getting narrow. There are so few paths to victory. And I don't want to keep releasing these, but every time news gets a little bit off, somebody says, well, he's surging in the polls, or here's one poll that shows him doing very well. He's at plus 24 in Oklahoma. Well, that's great, but Romney did plus 35 in Oklahoma. I mean, he's performing 10% worse than Romney in Oklahoma. That's not great. In Ohio, he recently polled 0% with blacks. Poll from today, 2% with blacks, 23% with Hispanics. That is not how you win an election. It is, after all, a popularity contest. If you'd like to see some of my previous videos on the election, I'll put them up on the screen now, links in the description below, and you know what? Subscribe so you can get the next one of these, because as much as I'd like to say it ain't gonna happen, it surely is. And remember, this is only today's numbers. These could get significantly better or worse for either candidate. Hell, with these guys, it could get worse for both of them. Talk to you soon.